crazy, crazy stuff. Epstein's sex empire was a KGB honey trap. Pedophile financier had multiple talks with Putin after conviction, with Russian girls flown in to harvest compromat on world-famous figures. So understand something, and this is not surprising, but it's what's happening. You do have, the Western media is not afraid to talk about the KGB links when it comes to Epstein, which are true, which are real, but they will not, with a 10-foot pole, touch the claims about how he's a Mossad agent. The fact of the matter is, he's worked with the CIA, Mossad, and the KGB. He was a freelancer, and he had all this dirt running a blackmail honeypot operation, and he worked with a number of different intelligence agencies. So, but they're only going to focus on one because they don't want to besmirch Israel in the West.
I've said it in the beginning, I'll say it again. All of these files have done has just confirmed what a lot of people who are paying attention to this already know, and that's our government has been compromised by a foreign government, and that the rich and powerful are into some really sick shit. And they're being protected. They're all protecting each other while also throwing each other under the bus. What a weird time we live in. What timeline we living in right now? Who knows? Who would have thought that this country would go through such enormous lengths to protect pedophiles? It's amazing that we're watching this right now in our country. It's amazing. I want to show you some Young Turk stuff too while we're at it.
Was he an agent himself or was he an asset? To me, it doesn't matter because it's clear in these documents, based on emails that he himself was writing, that he was working for Mossad and the Rothschild, by the way. He even says it clearly in one of the email exchanges. So included in the latest batch of the Epstein files is an FBI document that quotes a confidential human source who claimed that Epstein was an agent of the Mossad. Now, this CHS, confidential human source, was connected with Epstein through Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, which we'll be talking about in a little bit as well. Now I'm gonna give you the excerpt from the actual FBI file and I'll read you the relevant parts. So confidential human source, CHS, learned that Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families. For example, Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner were both his students. Dershowitz told CHS that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence Mossad agent. Confidential human source believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad and subscribed to their mission. CHS still continues to communicate occasionally for Dershowitz. Now, even more damning was the next excerpt I'm gonna read you from the FBI document that was part of the Epstein files. Let's take a look. Jeffrey Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. The confidential human source remembered Dershowitz tell Alex Acosta, the US attorney of Southern District of Florida at the time, that Epstein belonged to both US and allied intelligence services, meaning Mossad. CHS shared phone calls between Dershowitz and Epstein during which he/she took notes. After these calls, Mossad would then call Dershowitz to debrief. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him. And the confidential human source also told the FBI, let's take a look at the next graphic, another excerpt from the FBI document. Trump has been compromised by Israel and Kushner is the real brains behind his organization and presidency. Now, before I give you more, I kind of want to stay on the topic of Dershowitz and what we've just read, right? Let's process it for a moment. I'll start with you, Cenk.
Yeah, so Dershowitz in all of his appearances says, I'll sue anyone that talks about me or any client of Jeffrey Epstein, and he constantly demands to know the names of the victims. He keeps saying, no, the one thing that you should redact the people who might have done it, but you shouldn't redact the names of the victims because he wants to sue them. So that's lawfare. And so he's threatened people over and over again. He threatens every show that talks about it. And he has a mysterious amount of money, I don't know from where, to apparently engage in all these lawsuits.
He sure does.
He got the money from Israel. Let's keep it real.
we just read in FBI details and how he's recounting how he wished he was a younger man so he could be a young Mossad agent with a stun gun. The guy's a clown. He doesn't even work for this country. He works for freaking Israel. Go to Israel. If you want to be with Israel, go with Israel and go be there. Be happy over there. Stop fucking compromising our country. Oh my God.
And so now this is a confidential human source. That means it is one person, and you take it with a grain of salt. And I would love to get all of this into a court of law. And I would love for all this evidence to come forward and for us to adjudicate this. Now, for the moment being, we don't have that. Why? Because Dershowitz and Epstein and everyone who covers up for them in the US government has prevented that from happening. There are no clients, the Trump team told us. Biden didn't do anything. He just drooled for 4 straight years. And every administration, there's nothing to see here, but 1,200 girls have been raped. But no one raped them other than Epstein and Maxwell. So now we have the stories of Dershowitz. Again, we're not saying they're true. We're telling you this is what's in the files reported by a confidential human source. Another where he watches Epstein. Is there someone who is not connected to a government and their intelligence agencies that tries to get cyber weapons for that government? Is that a thing that happens? Oh, I was a civilian. I was walking by a pizza shop and decided, oh, look, there's people who I could buy cyber weapons from and give them to Israel. That's not a thing. So all of like establishment media still ignoring this is insanity.
Jake,
total insanity.
Jake.
And so look, one last thing about that, Anna. Imagine if the story was Epstein tried to procure cyber weapons for China. Do you think we'd be talking about that nonstop? Of course, everybody would be like, China, our mortal enemy, China has cyber weapons for Russia, Russia, or just a random country, Kenya. Like I imagine New York Times, CNN would be like, whoa, Kenya is all over the Epstein files. And it turns out he was trying to get cyber weapons for Kenya. He was trying to get America to bomb Kenya's neighbors on behalf of Kenya. Wow, what an amazing story. When it's Israel, shh.
No, there is a pattern.
It's true. It's been happening my whole life. It's true, man. Listen, a lot of the stuff is coming out, man. We're seeing a lot of stuff that's been held from us for a long time. And this is part of it, man. This stuff is so wide and open that you can't even deny it. You can't make it up. You can't say that it's not happening, man. It's just happening in front of your eyes in a way that is unbelievable. I can't even believe a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing. You know, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just going to be more and more if the right side, the people on the right side continue to fight, continue to ask for more and more and more, keep asking for more because we're entitled to it. It's our goddamn country, and they have to give this up. We're entitled to it. This information we're entitled to. So everybody out there should always fight for, you know, for the rights that we're entitled to as Americans. You know, these representatives are supposed to represent us, Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter what your team logo is. At the end of the day, you're supposed to serve the people. If you're not serving the people, then get the hell out of the way. Get the hell out of the people's chair. And get the hell out of the people's house.
And this is the relevant part. I suspect Robert, Ghislaine, and Jeffrey were all Mossad agents trying to blackmail leaders in the political and financial world. I mean, how much more do we need, honestly? Okay, how much more do we need? I'll give you more if you want it.
No, we're gonna give more, but you know, I talked to folks that largely consume legacy media, and that he was a legendary Israeli spy, that he stole who Ghislaine Maxwell's dad is, and that he was a legendary Israeli spy, that he stole Americans' nuclear secrets. Now, these are acknowledged facts, but if you tell people who watch television, they think you're a conspiracy theorist. They're like, oh, that sounds crazy. Ghislaine Maxwell, a potential spy for Israel. Her dad was their top spy ever? Oh, come on. You must be an anti-Semite. That's what legacy media told me. No, it's right here in the files. We didn't write the files. And they're saying, there's, again, over and over references to They worked for Mossad. They constantly helping Israel. So you could say, hey, they're all anecdotes, and I can't connect dots if my life depended on it. And then you could work for the New York Times then.
So also found was a December 2018 email exchange between former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein. So in it, this was really interesting. Let's take a look at this graphic. So Barak asks Epstein if he's going to be in London on Thursday, and Epstein says no, and quote, "You should make clear that I don't work for Mossad," with a smiley face. He included a smiley face on that. And then Barak later responded with, first he's like, wait, me or you? Like, should I say that I don't work for Mossad or you don't work for Mossad? And then Epstein responds with me, and then Barak responds with like a winky emoji, like basically like, yeah, I'll tell them you don't work for Mossad. Finally,
it's just absurd. You know, look, here's what gives lie to legacy
It's all out in the
media.
open.
Well, I mean, it's
all
not
right there.
perfectly verified, so we're not
right
going to
there.
report on it at all.
I'm not making
No, it's
it up.
verified.
But wait a minute.
That's
They
all-
found one reference to
else?
Russia that was instantly in the papers.
I know.
Russia. We found. Wait,
Are
I
you
thought you
hearing
said you weren't
anything
going to
about
publish
this in
anything because it wasn't verified.
Are you hearing
When it's-
anything about this in the mainstream media? Him just openly admitting that he works for Israel as an agent, as an intelligence agent, Mossad. They throwing winky faces back and forth to each other. The guy that he's having this communication with is a former prime minister of Israel. What are we talking about, man? Get our country back. Are we going to get the country back or not? Or is this just all for naught?